everybody of the internet. So this video is going to be not, funny. I'm not going to try to make any jokes or anything like that because this is a serious topic that I want to talk about today. I don't know if you guys have seen this in the news as of late, but in my area, the Orlando area, there was a mass shooting at a club called Pulse, and it was a LGBT club where I know a couple of my friends actually go, so I'm just glad they weren't there that night. It's crazy to think about in your area. They actually said it was an act of terrorism. And that's crazy to think about because, you see something happen on the news and you're like, oh, that sucks, but it's not in my area. It doesn't really, I'm not subject to that. And when it does happen in your area, it's just kind of, shocking. And that has nothing to do with, being a bad person, because obviously, it affects us in a certain way when we see those kind of things on the TV and, hear about it in the news. But when it happens in your area, you kind of just get this surrealism, like, oh my gosh, that could have happened to me if I was there. This story is still progressing, but as of now, there's 50 dead and 53 in the hospital, or 52 in the hospital, and that's sombering to think about, because one of my friends could have been there, somebody that I know could have been there, and I don't even know. I haven't really reached out to everybody to make sure everybody's all right. But like I said, when it happens in your area, it's crazy to think about, just because it hits so close to home. I'm 15 minutes from downtown Orlando, from where that club is, and something else even happened that before, another shooting in the news before that. A girl named Christina Gimli, I think is her name, who was on The Voice. Very, very talented artist. I never actually saw her, but I looked up her music afterwards, and it was weird to see, so close together, two very, very brutal shootings. One, of somebody who was just doing concert, a girl that was just living her dream, performing for people, and afterwards, when she was doing autographs, some guy came up to her and just shot her dead. Her brother jumped on top of the guy, and he turned the gun on himself and killed himself before, police could arrive. But people are just deeply disturbed, and there's crazy people in this world, and they get their hands on these weapons, and it just makes everything so much worse. I feel like a lot of people are going to turn this into a political agenda, saying, guns are bad, and we need to ban guns in America, and, all this stuff. But the truth of the matter is, criminals will always find a way to get guns. Even in countries where it's illegal to own a gun, there's still criminal violence with guns. Yes, it's less than America, but you look at the statistics, and the machete murders and the knife murders and stabbings and all that kind of stuff, is way above the average for the United States. And it's crazy to think about, but criminals are always going to find a way. There's no real stopping them, and that's why I believe that everybody that wants to own a gun should own a gun. Everybody that's properly trained and knows how to use a gun, is comfortable with a gun, there's no danger there. Guns don't just go off accidentally. They don't accidentally shoot people. There's so many safeties on these guns, and yes, there's accidents where people are misusing the guns, but if you have a gun in a safe holster, it's unarmed in your house, and it's in a safe, there's no real danger for people that are just walking around. There was an article a while back. I worked with a lady who owned a ice cream shop, and her son did an article in the news where he put a shotgun on his front porch in a chair. And he did the article on guns don't kill people, people kill people with guns. The gun didn't go off, the gun didn't go around shooting people, it didn't go on a killing spree, it just sat there, did nothing. And he kept an eye on it, and nothing happened. So my argument is, I don't know if having a firearm in those situations would have prevented it. But it definitely could have helped. If somebody, responsible and that knew how to handle a gun, was in that club that night, he probably could have, or he or she could have, prevented the deaths of, a couple people at least, and that's good enough for me. If you could prevent the death of one person by being able to carry a firearm, that's good enough argument for me to be able to carry a gun around. And I'm not saying, this is a concealed carry, so even if I was carrying a gun right now, which I'm not, but I will soon be, people wouldn't know unless I go and flash it to them, and even then, there's laws preventing me from doing that, and I spend a lot of time in jail if I do that. So, so I do believe there needs to be a system in place where it's harder to get guns, but I don't think it should stop us from getting guns. assault rifles, like, you know, was used in the club shooting, the pulse shooting. Yeah, that you know, you need to have a special, absolute special permit for that, and you know, that, to be able to get those, or have, you know, military background, or you know, all that stuff. But you know, if you're gonna have a gun in your house, if you're gonna have a shotgun, a pistol, or even, you know, an assault rifle, you need to have that stuff locked up, especially if you have kids around. Me and Kayla were actually talking about this stuff, and you know, we came to an agreement saying, yeah, she doesn't really like guns, and when I start carrying it, you know, I just won't carry it around her, but you know, I'm gonna carry it on my motorcycle, because there's too many things that can happen on a motorcycle. I mean, these cars are, you know, 3-4 times, you know, my size, and they could easily run me off the road if they wanted to. I've seen too many, you know, crazy people, especially in Florida now. I mean, one mass shooting and one shooting of a, you know, a poor girl in just the last week, and that's scary to think about. But I mean, what if, you know, what if some guy gets angry at me for, you know, going past him or something like that, and he decides to, you know, try to run me off the road? I'm gonna try to, you know, I'm gonna protect myself. I'm gonna pull out my gun and shoot him. There's, you know, that's, I'd never want to do that, but that's, you know, unfortunately the world we live in, that kind of has to happen. So I guess what I'm saying is, we just live in an unfortunate place, and I don't want anybody to turn this into a political agenda, even though I talked about gun safety and gun laws this whole time. But if you disagree with me, that's totally fine. You have your opinion, and whatever makes you feel safe, but you know, you got to respect my opinion too, and just say, okay, well, he believes that, you know, he can be safer with a gun. So like I said, especially on a motorcycle, it's a little scary out here. So I don't know why, you know, I just kind of wanted to share my opinion on this whole thing, and, you know, kind of reach out and say, if anybody's in the Orlando area and needs, you know, somebody to talk to about this, if, you know, you lost somebody, or just it affected you in some way, you know, comment on this video, and I'll, you know, I'll reach out to you, and, you know, we can talk about, you know, some stuff that's going on. You know, go have lunch or something like that. I don't know. So I'm just gonna say, if you're in the Orlando area, be safe. You know, be careful when you go out to these clubs, because they were saying on the news that they were scared of some copycats. They don't know if this is, you know, something against LGBTs, or, you know, this guy just was crazy enough to walk into just a random club and shoot it up. But anyway, just be safe. You know, if you know somebody with, you know, a firearm or something like that, talk to them about firearm safety, and just, you know, see what you can do to prevent something like that happening. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, be safe. Please reach out to me if you need me, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. I promise it won't be as somber. Oh, let's hope so. Anyway, all right, peace out.